Everyone. I'm not really a very vain person. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of reserved. But I've had a lot of people ask me how I stay looking younger as I'm 59. And I got no makeup on, no filter. And this is my original hair color. I just take care of my health the best I can. And, oh, where's my oil? There it is. Sorry, put it back there. I use sweet almond oil. That's pretty much the base I use on my face. And I find that it's, really easy to apply. And it starts off a little greasy, but then it soaks in. It's really a nice base for your face. It's very good for you, I think. I mean, I research a lot of this stuff. Now, if I go out in the sun, I make my own nano zinc, and this is like a clay, I guess they call it, what was that? Some kind of, and I just rub it around my eyes to protect myself from the sun. It's got mostly zinc and, like kaolin clay. And I just make up a little dish of it, and I just smear it all over. It's white. I add a little bit of iodine in it, like some kind of edible iodine drops with a little brown tint, just to keep the white from being super white. And then I just rub it in. So that's really all I do with my skin. I just protect it from the sun with the zinc and kaolin clay, and it's non-nano zinc, and it comes in like a little powder. I mix it with oils. You can use castor oil, black seed oil, coconut oil. I use it all and put it all in there. You could even use olive oil and aloe vera. And then I put it on my neck because when I walk in the sun, my neck and arms and everything are exposed. So I even put it on my arms, because I don't want wrinkles on my arms. And so, it's a very good protectant, and it's not toxic like a lot of the sunscreens. And I use little cocoa butter over it, cocoa butter lotions. That's basically all I do. Now, if I want a little bit of color, because I got very light eyebrows and you can't really see them, and my eyelashes, I use a curler for that. I can't do that on camera. I'm not that talented. I'm not really a big makeup person because I go to work just to work. I'm not there to impress anyone with my looks or anything. So I got this natural makeup. It's Mineral Fusion. I got it at Sprouts. And I just use like a little paintbrush like this. And, if I want to do the corner of my eyes, I just rub it in there. I'm not really good at this. But, I just use this instead of liners. I find that a paintbrush works better, like a little tiny paintbrush. And just, put the little wings under there. Like I said, I'm not very talented when it comes to makeup. I don't wear it much. And when I do, I just I don't usually, do it while I'm on video. I do it closer to the mirror where I can see. But I just smear it on with a little paintbrush because those crayons smear and they're too tight for my skin. It'll pull, and I don't want nothing pulling. Anything that pulls on your skin, even when you're young, will add to your wrinkles. So I try not to pull my skin. And that's basically all I do, is just paint it on. And the same eyeliner. I use a little lighter shade for my eyebrows. I wipe it off on a clean cloth. I wash it with soap and water all the time. And I just kind of dab my eyebrows a little bit, make them a little darker. I'm not crazy into makeup. I really don't see it necessary because I'm not attracting anyone. I want to stay alone. So, but if I have to do pictures or something, online, I kind of try to, brush up my looks a little bit. I know I'm kind of out in the wild. But that's this palette there, and it's also pretty nice because once the oil starts settling, you got to wait for it to kind of dry a little bit, but it's very natural and it covers quite a bit. You can use like a bronzer and go across where those spots are that shine a little bit, and just kind of dab it a little bit, and then you can brush it out a little later. You might need a tissue or something. I'm not really good at that stuff, but then you can just put a little dab on your cheekbones, and then I go over it with like a peachy color. Yeah, I just use my fingertips. It's pretty easy. And of course, my skin is so light that all of this color can be a little bit much more than I need. And like I said, I'm not an expert by any means, but I prefer the natural looks and the natural stuff because I'm afraid of toxins. At my age, I really don't want to have any kind of cancer or anything like that. So basically, that's just about all I do to get around. I'll put the mascara on and, or whatever, but I don't go too crazy with this stuff. And I know I probably messed up there. It's a little too dark. Sometimes I can't see what I'm doing in the phone. But anyways, yeah, I just smear it on, and I usually wait till my skin is a little drier from that oil, but that's a natural oil. It'll soak in and it'll actually be good for your skin. It's not gonna give you the breakouts or anything like that, and that's important to me because my skin is prone to breaking out and I have to really watch it. So anyways, and then of course I got my handy dandy Holdi-locks, and with my hair being as fine as it is and long, I have to be very, very careful how I comb it. So I use like a large wide tooth comb, and I'll secure it with like a hair twist tie. So I'm gonna do like a little crown bun, little tiara bun I call it. It's kind of cute because it doesn't tangle like, if you had just done this to your, little whale spout kind of ponytail. This can tangle with the rest of your hair. But if you don't want tangles, I use my Holdi-locks. Then I just wind it up. I wind up about half of mine because it's so super long. You might need to use just a quarter of yours. And I just make myself a little bun on top. Of course, my hair is kind of long, so this will give me that little tiara bun, and it's nice and round. I just put the little elastic on it, fluff it up a little bit, and there you go. You got like a cute little young youthful hairdo. If you want your hair all down, it's kind of a neat little look. And then I just put a dab of lip color on. I try to outline my lip, and of course I'm using a natural lip color or lip product. It's Kiss Professional. I found that at Sprouts. So that's basically all I do to stay youthful and healthy. I don't really want to sacrifice my skin for, some prettier makeup. To me, I'm not worried about being pretty. I'm just, more of a go-getter and get her done type of person. So anyways, there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.